Good evening. Tonight, Monique Gale, the heartbroken mother of a 6-week-old boy who died under unknown circumstances at home in Grandspin St. Andrew, cries as she explains how puzzled she is at the death of her beloved son. Now, we want to advise our viewers that this may be hard for some persons to watch. Here is Miss Gale as she tries to come to terms with her baby boy's death.
What time?
I wake up back and put him back asleep.
What time was that?
I don't know, I can't remember what the time.
That was last night?
I went to my friend man come. I said no, my breast start leak. I said I go take him up here now. I see blood. The blood on the bed.
You see blood on the bed when you take him out.
I said Jesus Christ, I'm good.
Him dead on the bed, you know.
Yeah.
Dead in I'm sleeping, you know. Then I'm
I'm
sleeping.
take him off. I can't believe.
So when you take him up, I'm feeling.
I'm doing it. Jesus Christ, I need someone to baby. I'm Jesus Christ.
We also spoke with Tanisha Samuels, who shared her understanding of what took place.
Sunday we came to church for Christmas. So if nothing be wrong with a seat or no, him got a clinic the other day. The other day him got a clinic for him skin can be have some bump on him skin as she came down to the clinic. So if something be wrong, the doctor they better tell her. Or tell her if he can't got children. She come home back with him, them give her one cream for rub him on, with the bump them, and she come home back with him. She feed the baby boy after 8 last night. The baby in bed. In the hours this morning, but before this morning, we in the after 6. He get up and I cry. Him scream out, after him scream out, she take him up. The friend wake her up and she say, oh the baby has screamed and she take him up. Hush him back, give him look a breast. No, she never give him a breast. She hush him back and like him drop back asleep. No. She say now wake up, 8 o'clock come, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, nothing. You understand? She said she get up now and say she go wake him up because she not see him move. She wake him up. When she take off the sheet off him, she said she feel him tough. So the next girl now run come call Ballad. When she run come call Ballad and Ballad come over here now look at him, she see him dead. Blood dip on the blood, but blood around him nose and him mouth. And I like say she feed him and the feed now run out. A blood around him nose. That's how we discover him dead.
We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. In news from the capital, 41-year-old Trace Newland of 7th Street, Kingston 12, was fatally shot, while 3 other persons, including a woman, were shot and injured by unknown assailants on 1st Street, Kingston 12 yesterday. Now, reports from the Dano Town Police coming into our news center tonight are that at approximately 9:45 p.m., Newland was among a group of persons at an alleged illegal night that were pounced upon by armed men who opened fire, hitting them. The police were alerted and they were taken to the hospital where Newland was pronounced dead and the other persons admitted for treatment. They were reportedly attending the night of Debbie Eaton, who was fatally shot in downtown Kingston last week. The area is now tense and residents there are expressing fear while calling for their Member of Parliament and the Prime Minister to intervene. Still in the capital, residents of Burger Gully, East Kingston are calling for peace as tensions are high in sections of the community amongst warring factions. Now, our news team visited the community and spoke with Pastor Gavin Sidney Campbell, pastor of the Church of God Deliverance Center ministry in the community for the last 15 years. He explained that crime in the area has been happening for some time.
This that is happening in the community is not just now, it's like a cycle, it's a yearly thing. But the church has been very involved in the community, but one of our biggest problem is the social intervention. and the resources. The church is, limited where the resources is concerned. And we would like for a stakeholder to come in and to assist. For instance, we have a lot of unemployed persons in the community. Persons leaving schools and they have nothing to do. And there's a saying that always said that, the devil find work, give idle hands. So I am calling upon, the government and the business community to let us assist, this community, because the police, them alone cannot do it, and they need help. And it's a lot of things that is happening in the community that can, if we get the help and the resources, that can help the police to better manage.
Pastor Campbell also gave a message to the warring factions.
One of the things that I want to say to the warring community is to leave vengeance in the hands of the Lord, because what we're having is a lot of retaliation, that this one heard from this side and then this side go and attack that side. So what we want to say to persons, if you continue to attack and continue to take matters into your own hand, then we're not going to have any peace. But the word of the Lord reminds us that vengeance is mine, said the Lord, I will repay. So I would like to encourage the citizens to work with the police. And let me tell you, I must commend the new superintendent of police that is in charge of this division. I tell you, if we had somebody like Superintendent Chambers, we would not have this, well, I wouldn't say this, but a lot of the violence, because this woman are present being felt in the community. And I believe over the last couple of years, this is what missing. You have police that just come and they come in with brute force. But what Mrs. Chambers brought to this community is a dialogue. And I like what is happening and the initiative on her part. So I want to encourage Mrs. Chambers and her team to continue. And I want to vow as a pastor who have great love and concern for this community, that I am willing to work with her and to work with the resident of the community to make Rockfort a model community.
Orlando Hamilton, better known as King, a community peace activist, explained that he has been working in the communities to reach a place of peace.
My initiative in bringing both fractions together, so I would have moved from Burger Avenue to 17 Mountain View Avenue, better known as 17 Lane, back and forth between the two different fractions along the Gully Bank. I've invited the Member of Parliament in, Philip Powell. I've invited the Councillor Jacqueline Lewis in. Jacqueline Lewis came. She and I did some walks, we did some talk. We also shared some chicken between the different fractions in order to give them an avenue of entrepreneurship to really generate some funds and do something positive with their life. I dubbed it chicken in a cube, not shot in a gun, so the youth them know that them put some chicken in a cube and become businessmen. There was a murder on the 27th, which have really caused personnel to stay within their zones, because it seems like the peace was broken because of that murder. There was another murder this year, which led to a fire. It was said that a man from this side of the fraction, Burger Avenue, walked down to 17 Lane. He was down there for some period of time, and it was reported to me that men from that side of the community would have shot him 7 times. In response to that, I was told that men from this section, the top part of Burger, went down there, and they lit a house. Our house was set on fire. I think it was 4 different sets of family that was left homeless due to that fire.
Mr. Hamilton further pointed out the ways that he tries to bring the communities together.
There is tension in the community right now. There is tension. There's lots of talks. I've been hearing persons from that side saying this, person from this side saying this. My role, I try to play a neutral role in balancing all of these, negative comments from both sides in order to really ease the tension psychologically until we can work together collectively with the security force to ease the tension physically.
Finally, your word to the warring faction.
My word to the entire community. It's a new year. I know we have to a bad start. I know we can make a difference, a positive difference, a positive change. I just hope persons can really find it within themselves to be strong. Let's start the dialogue to bring the different fractions together, because we don't want any psychological or physical borderline within our community. We just want the community to be that one space of peace where all of us can live and grow to our full potential.
One resident that we spoke with explained how the ongoing war in the community has affected their lives, especially the children.
Why did them something I go on from a little bit I go to school? Nah, like from a little bit I go to school. Yeah. Man are dead, people are dead. I have 4 nieces where them father dead gone. Yeah, we are same man from up a burger, stay from up there, shoot down here. Yeah, shoot him in the belly. And this lately warrior now like is a new arrival, because me don't know where it spring from, me don't know where it for, me don't know who and who involved, but all me know I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Number one, the sound of the gunshot them alone. My niece and never them can't take them something there, because them not used to them dwelling there. Yeah, see it. You have one little one who wear the glasses. Whenever she hear the gunshot, she vibrate. Yeah, we have to hold and pan her. What day she run out and scream, say, she want to go country. Go stay because she can't take it no more. Even during the what day them have online classes Saturday when the shooting take place. And she couldn't focus no more for the rest of the day. She lose focus because all her mind upon more shot go fire. Nobody cares when the shot fire, who a fire it. But man, come down a fire shot every night, gunshot fire. So long as no police not upon the ground, every night gunshot fire. Because some people were down here like what go on. Yeah. Yeah, them love what go on, because if them even have picnic in night and them know say them son are the wrongs. You see, them not try to draw them out. And if you even go tell them, say boy, you know, say boy, your son ready, them say man, I care back your name to them son. And then them son have your pan wipe free. You understand me?
Another resident cried for peace and love in the community.
Well, it affect my body now, because the whole of it was one. I don't know what causes, but I just want to say peace and love. I could have love, because without love, there's nothing, and we's nothing. So I could put on all of the crap and be love. That's the point. God wants all of us love. No matter what happen, love. And make we live good, because the whole of it was one.
Still tonight, 5 persons, including alleged gang leader Kevin Richie Poo Tyndale, were shot and injured by armed men along Old Hope Road, St. Andrew, yesterday afternoon. Police reports coming into our news center are that Tyndale was among a group of persons in the area at approximately 3 p.m. when armed men traveling on 2 motorcycles opened fire, hitting them. Now 5 persons, including Tyndale, were shot and taken to the hospital where they were admitted. One of the victims has reportedly died. The alleged reputed gang leader is now in hospital in critical condition. In September 2005, Tyndale was sentenced to 3 terms of 30 years in prison, each at hard labor, for illegal possession of a firearm, robbery with aggravation, and wounding with intent. The sentences were to run concurrently. In other news tonight, Jamaica yesterday recorded 38 additional cases of COVID-19, ranging in age from 3 to 85 years. Now, this takes the total of cases to 13,368, of which 1,649 are active. No additional fatalities from the virus were recorded, keeping that figure at 306. However, one coincidental death is currently under investigation. Now, of the 38 newly reported cases, 18 are males and 19 are females, ranging in age from 3 to 85 years. The gender of one case is still under investigation. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew with 16 cases. Clarendon recorded 5 cases. Manchester and St. Catherine recorded 4 cases. St. Elizabeth, 3 cases. St. Mary also recorded 3 cases. St. Anne recorded 2 cases and St. James recorded 1 case. In the meantime, there were 71 additional recoveries, moving the total of recovered persons to 11,253. 91 persons are currently hospitalized, 8 of whom are moderately ill and 8 critically ill. 4 persons are in government quarantine, while 23,471 are at home. In other news tonight, following the resumption of face-to-face classes, Shadow Minister of Education and Training, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, toured the Haile Selassie High School earlier today. She explained that teachers are joyful to return to the classroom with the students.
No, I believe that, as they have said, that it is certainly a greater engagement of students doing it face-to-face rather than doing it online for schools such as Haile Selassie High School. And I am certain, as they are also saying, that students who are here actually welcome the opportunity to come out and not just see friends, but to actually engage in some kind of learning. One of the concerns I've had in all of this has really been how we make sure that in finding solutions for where we are with the pandemic, we try to right some historic wrongs, which is really about the equity. How we make sure that schools that have been traditionally disadvantaged, that we find a way to bring them up, and we find a way when we are making allocations and so on, not to do it across the board, but to do it taking into account their needs.
Dr. Brown-Burke also pointed out that internet connectivity is still a huge issue and needs to be addressed.
It's a huge problem at home, it's a huge problem at school, and it is something that we're going to have to address because there is no future in education without technology. Yes? And online in some way, shape or form is going to be a part of the future. And so we have to make sure that at school, our students are able reliably to get online and to access learning there, and that at home they can also have that opportunity. Connectivity is bad, and it is bad amongst 2 demographics. It is bad in rural areas, and it is bad amongst the poor. Yeah? And sometimes we look at the urban area and say, oh, it's not so bad in the urban area. It is bad amongst the poor, it is bad in rural areas. And those are the 2 sectors that we are going to have to try and protect and try and bolster and try and support as we reset a new norm in education. One of the things that I'm disappointed in terms of how they have been approaching it is for us to decide whether or not they can do more or that they are doing well enough is to give us greater information. Often when we get the reports, information is there, but the data is scarce.
The Shadow Minister of Education and Training added that more systemic support is needed regarding providing tablets for students.
Is that we have a number of places providing tablets, and some of them are below the standard that you probably would want. And what that means is that you have it, but after a couple of weeks, maybe not even months, it goes. Even those that are being provided by the school. And then it now becomes the duty of the parent to fix. And in some cases, that's beyond the parent again. So there you have someone counted as having a device who really doesn't have access to one. I think we need more support from more systemic support. That's kind of what we need. There are still some schools who are left to purchase, for example, on their own. First of all, getting a really good price is one thing. Identifying the specs is another, making sure, as you said there, that the quality of the product that they have, the merchandise that they have, that is one that will stand up, that they won't a couple months down the line again have the problem of having to replace and having it not under warranty and so on. So I think we need to do much more education, but we also need much more support from the ministry in areas like those.
Continuing with the news tonight, effective February of this year, jury trials are to resume on a phased basis for the Home Circuit Court and some rural circuit courts of the Hillary term. Now, in a statement, the Courts Administration Division (CAD) outlined that jury trials for matters accepting cases where the death penalty is an issue will proceed in courts that can accommodate jurors with adequate space for physical distancing to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In order to accommodate jury trials, the judiciary says it will be using 2 courtrooms to hear a single matter and will be transferring matters that would usually be dealt with at the parish courts to outstations to facilitate physical distancing. The CAD further expressed that jurors can be assured that all COVID-19 guidelines outlined by the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be followed while they are in the precincts of the courts. Jury trials were suspended in March of last year when Jamaica recorded its first case of COVID-19. Continuing with the news, the body of tourism mogul Gordon Butch Stewart arrived at the Sangster International Airport yesterday after he unfortunately passed away on Monday after battling an illness that has not been revealed. The 79-year-old businessman's body was flown into the island from Miami, where he died. A memorial in his honor was held at the Sandals Montego Bay Beach Resort and Spa. Now, our news team visited the property and witnessed workers and managers paying tribute to Mr. Stewart, whom they described as a sweet soul and a generous person. General Manager for the property, Carl Bevery, in speaking with our news team, described Mr. Stewart as a genius businessman who always placed his employees as a top priority.
I've been fortunate enough to be working with a company for 24 years, so I've grown to know him, to love him, respect him, admire him. He's meant so much to every single person in this organisation. He's grown the company, he's afforded opportunities for Caribbean people to grow within the organisation and reach the top. There's been no barriers for them. But on a personal level, I've been very fortunate to know him. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, and he was the first person to call me. And he said to me, anything you need, you let me know. If my doctors need to take care of you, we will take care of you. And I was fortunate enough to fly to London to have surgery. And I met him in London. He wanted to see me when he was in London. And he constantly checked and asked how I was doing, how I was recovering. And I think it was just an inside visit of how much he cared for the people that worked for him. And I'm not unique to that level of care at all. If anybody was sick and you called him and said, I need help for this team member, he was the first person to say, whatever they need, you make sure they get as well. So it's today with a heavy heart we say goodbye to him and say farewell. He's going to be missed. He was not just admired and respected, but he was loved by the people that work for him, for this organisation, I think for the people of Jamaica as well.
Employee and member of the Sandals Foundation, Ian Spencer, described the humanitarian side of Mr. Stewart.
I've been with the company for close to 20 years now, and Mr. Stewart has been like a father to me. One thing I always remember, he maintained the common touch, not because he was the chairman, but whenever he would come on the properties, he would always have a good word to say hi, hello, and we get a chance to interact with him. As somebody who works closely with the Sandals Foundation, I remember the humanitarian side of the man. Always willing to lend a hand to the community, whether it's at the school or the various community events. That was something that I really cherish about him, his giving spirit. And that is one of the things that I remember most, the humanitarian who was Mr. Gordon Butch Stewart. One of the last of the really great Jamaicans, somebody who came from humble beginnings and built a fantastic empire which has given a lot of us a chance to go to school. Yeah, a lot of us have gotten a chance to enhance our education. So, I mean, what he has done for Jamaica is something that we can't even begin to quantify. And we just say rest in peace, Mr. Gordon Butch Stewart.
In other news tonight, The National Water Commission, NWC, says some Westmoreland customers are currently experiencing service disruptions due to a shutdown at its Bulstrode treatment plant. The NWC said the shutdown is to facilitate emergency repair works. Now the Commission has estimated that service will be restored by Saturday, January 9. Affected areas include Grange Hill, Burnt Savannah, Tollgate, Hall Island, Little London, Broughton, Herring Peace, Glasgow, New Hope, Fullersfield, and surrounding areas. And those are the stories making news. I am Shelley Hill. We will now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.